You're looking at footage of the Guadalajara airport in Mexico as cartel gunmen have stormed the area in multiple other locations across Mexico. People running for their lives, as you can see right here, out of the back of the Guadalajara airport. This is all in connection to the capture or killing of Mencho. The members that are said to be behind all this are members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or the CJNG. They apparently stormed this international airport. This is in retaliation for the death of their notorious leader, Nemesio El Mencho Asguera. Now, there was a military operation that was pulled off in downtown, and apparently they took his life. And in response, all hell is breaking loose. People were trapped at the airport. They could not get out. There's plumes of smoke coming up from all over the area. Shots fired inside of the airport. Just literal chaos all over the place. There's many different places that are affected here in this. They even say Puerto Vallarta is affected here. There's people that are being kind of held hostage or can't leave the area because of this. And you can see here on the feeds, when you scroll through the feeds, you can just see plumes of smoke and the same stuff everywhere. They're saying code red in terms of this, and I'm not sure that the Mexican government is prepared whatsoever to deal with this. We've got word that here within the past week, the U.S. military sent boots on the ground into the area to deal with certain situations, and we may see more of it. This may be where the whole thing with the cartels goes into motion. Remember, Trump made an executive order on day one of this term, and it was against cartels in Mexico specifically. We've seen no big action until right now. This is rather big, and it could escalate. So I'll leave a link. Join me for the...
And Shalom. First and foremost, let me give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to Mother Apostles, a great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful members of the elect, the Becharim, the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling, governing body of the nation of Yashala. And as you see, all right, Dabu 77, the man that was just speaking, he was going into how El Mencho was taking out the leader of a cartel group in Jalisco, Mexico, all right, Mexico. And now all out hell's breaking loose because, they took out one of theirs, the cartel leader, all right, which it was the Mexican army as well as the U.S., all right, special ops. They took out El Mencho, which his name is Oseguera, all right, the head of our Nemesio Mencho Oseguera, the head of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, and assessed as one of Mexico's most powerful cartel leaders. Footage on social media show us utter chaos unfolding across Guadalajara and other CJNG strongholds after Mencho's killing. All right. And over there in Mexico, those are the children of Israel as well. They're one of the tribes, the tribe of Issachar. Okay. And hey, they're catching, in those certain regions, like it just said, in Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara and Jalisco, they're catching hell. Some of them can't leave. All right, even American tourists, they're stuck at their resorts because they can't leave. All right, and those cartels, they own all those spots. The resorts, they pay the cartel. All right. You see? But yeah, it's not looking so good, okay? That's from Zero Hedge. It says dozens dead after Mexican special forces kill cartel boss El Mincho as U.S. braces for spillover. So it says Mexican authorities said 62 people, including civilians and troops, were killed after Mexican Army Special Forces, assisted by U.S. intelligence. All right, so it was U.S. I stand corrected, not U.S. Special Ops, but they still got the assistance from the U.S. But U.S. intelligence carried out a daring raid that decapitated the Jalisco New Generation cartel by killing its leader, Nemesio Elemental Oseguera Cervantes. All right. It says in response, the Mexican government deployed an additional 2,500 troops last night in Jalisco State and neighboring states, combined with the 7,000 troops already stationed there. All right, so they had 7,000 already over there, okay? And they just added 2,500 more. Over 10,000 troops are now deployed to stop further CJNG attacks. Okay, so that's this. Okay, so actually, let me go back. There was one more. Let me just read one more. All right. It says the Sunday killing of Nemesio, I'm just gonna call him Mincho, the leader of Jalisco New Generation cartel by Mexican security forces, unleashed coordinated cartel retaliation attacks, driving rapid instability across Guadalajara, Jalisco's capital, and spilling into high traffic resort areas, including Puerto Vallarta. Okay, so here's the map, all right, if you can see it. Here's Guadalajara, all right. That's the capital in Jalisco. Okay. Let me see if I can show a better one real quick. Guadalajara, yep, in Jalisco, which is a state in Mexico. All right. They say that's where a lot of the prettiest cry women are. Yeah, so that's it right there. Okay. Yeah. Mexico is huge, all right? Mexico is very large. So that's it right there. And let's see if we can, I don't want to get into the article. Let me just read the titles. Cartel Kingpin El Mencho dead, right? Here's a short list of possible successors. All right, it just says the same thing. Let me go into some scriptures now, and I want to get one more video because it's like back-to-back news. All right, and hey, if they touch American troops, if they touch American tourists, oh man, you know what Trump is gonna do. It's in his nature. All right. So let me get Ecclesiastes, because hey, it's like it's getting bad over there. Okay, it already was in Mexico, but it's getting bad over there, man. All right, it's Jacob's trouble over there. Jake is catching it out there, man. The Issacharites, okay. And Mexico has other various tribes within that country as well. All right, you got some Zebulon out there, but this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 3. It says, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time. Actually, I was sorry, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, right? There's different seasons, okay? I'm just gonna name a few. A time to be born and time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. All right? So focusing on the third verse, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. Well, we're in a time of calamity all throughout the world, okay? But in this particular lesson, this video, Mexico, and that is one of the tribes, okay, the children of the Most High, which his name is Yahweh, and his only begotten son is Yahweh Shai. Those are one of the children of the Most High, the tribe of Issachar, meaning he is hired, and they're very hard-working people. The laborers, hard-working people. They can get any job done efficiently, all right? And why do you think they dominate a lot of hard-working type of sports like soccer and boxing? Those require like conditioning and cardio, which Issachar has that. Like it seems like he has like everlasting energy. You ever work with an Issacharite? Yeah, you can't even keep up, you know? But yeah, it's getting bad out there, man. All right. But guess what? The Lord's going to protect his elect. Any brothers that's out there, any believers, he's going to protect, you know? He's going to protect them. All right. So let me play another video, all right, from Dabu, because it's getting crazy out there. All right, I'll play this one.
This is Dabu 7. You're looking at a pan across Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. As you can see many fires burning here as the cartels have set fire to many different vehicles, buses, businesses, and the war is ongoing. You can hear the big guns right here on this helicopter. The shooting at cartel members below.
That's crazy.
Americans being warned to get out of Mexico now, out of these areas.
Yeah, but a lot of them can't, man. Like again, the cartel is taking over the airports. Some, I was watching Anton Daniels. Some tourists said they can't even leave.
You can see what's happening. Just there eating a meal. People got to get up and run. The cartels are coming in. They're torching gas stations. They're seizing anything that they can for leverage. This is what people have to deal with all over the place in Mexico right now. The official word right now is that when they went in and they killed El Mencho, the U.S. had intelligence helping the Mexican army and the special forces. You could say that you should get ready for blowback. Because now that they're working with them hand in hand, well, they're working with them hand in hand to attack them, so they are the enemy in the cartel's eyes. So they're going to get attacked. They're going to be open for hits. That puts the United States, anything on the border, front line right now from here on out. We just had this incursion with the drone thing here this past week, and now this. This is along the scale of what I've been waiting for the entire time, for things to kind of explode in Mexico. All because Trump put an executive order into motion on day one of this term that told us something huge was going to come of this.
Yeah, he labeled the cartel a terrorist group, which they are, and definitely are.
They waited all the way till now, and it looks like it's going into motion. Now, they also have other factions to deal with out here. They make mention of this Isidro Meza Flores rising to power over another group, another cartel that's down there, that is in cahoots with other cartels. So you got many cartels down here fighting, so to speak, over power, especially on the western side, and this spills in to Sinaloa. Okay? So you've got this Meza Flores. They call him the El Chapo Isidro.
Bear with me for 1 second. All right, continue.
Okay, he is the former lieutenant in the Beltran Leyva organization, and he has spent the past year expanding the Guasave cartel. Guasave cartel, that's a major one down here. He also connected in an alliance with the Mayito Flaco group. So the Mayiza faction with the Guasavs here, and there's a conflict within Sinaloa. So this is large scale, and it looks like U.S. military is helping the Mexican government or army at this point in time, side by side, going in and targeting some of these members. So Where this goes from here, yet to be seen. They could work together, expanding into all these regions, and it's going to cause for blowback here on the home front. There's no way it's not going to happen. I would expect it beyond just the border. So heads on a swivel for this one.
Yeah, man, it's gonna get worse. Civilians dying. All right, it's gonna get worse sooner or later. Okay, the cartel's not playing, man. Okay, and there was one more video actually. Let me just get this real quick. The scripture, 2 Ezra 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. All right, and especially towards the children of Israel. They have walked in great pride. They have walked in great pride. Okay, and the Lord is judging this place. All right, He's judging this place. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. Okay? But killings, so-called innocent lives, the cartel has, unalived in the last few decades. All right, many. We're talking about children, whole families, literally. They just said, after this whole elemental incident, that, the leader that got killed, they said, I forgot where it was. I think a tourist lady even, she brought it up. She said it. She said, just down the road, they shot up a whole car with a family in it. Destroyed the whole family. All right? Because the cartel, they're trying to make a statement. It's crazy, Those are some demonic jakes, man. Them cartel members. But there's one more video, man, which is I just saw today. Crazy, right? It says, extermination camps ran by Mexican cartels, ruthless gangs that melt victims. Let's see.
It looks like the cartels in Mexico are on heightened alert after the killing of El Mencho. It seems that many of them are in a position where they're not only fighting other cartels at this point.
Damn, see? That melt victims and acid by thousands. Many great miseries, man. All right? And that's soon going to come upon the whole world all at once when all that hell finally breaks loose. You have many great miseries happening here and there on the earth. Okay, earthquake here. Wiped out some people. Big tsunami. All right? Certain pestilence might go out, whatever. But sooner or later, it's going to come down to the whole world when shit hits the fan. Excuse my French. All right? But many great miseries come upon this earth. It's already happening. Okay? Gradually. Everything happens gradually. I notice how the Most High, does things. Okay?
But now they got to deal with the Mexican army coming in, working with the United States in their intelligence, whether it's CIA or the military. They're helping them large scale do things on the ground. Now, this is strategic for the United States as long as they can keep the Mexican army working in this, because largely a lot of the blowback will come right onto the Mexican army or the police there and not spill over into the United States, which is what they're warning about right now. Now, these cartels are ruthless, and some of them in their areas, they run...
Yeah, very ruthless. Matthew 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All right? And people are waxing cold every day. You barely can get a high out of somebody when you walk near them or walk past them. Right? You see? Now, I'm not saying every individual walk past is just, damn... shit, these people are, inherently wicked. Not inherently wicked, that's Esau Edom, but a lot of these people are just not right. All right? But what I'm trying to say is not everyone you come across is going to be like an a-hole. But nevertheless, a lot of people are just, they really don't want to help out. Okay? A lot of people are evil, wicked. A lot of things are coming out. The whole Epstein files, child trafficking. All right? You're your professor who you've been going to your class. You come to find out he's a pedophile. That's because I just watched this video of this professor at a college or university and found out. They found out that he was He was a Mo, all right, and he liked young boys, all right. So these people are getting worse and worse. People's minds are becoming more corrupted and demonic. And these cartel members, man, they definitely worship Satana, all right, Satan, all right. They definitely worship evil out there, okay?
What they describe as extermination camps, poised to turn that local area into how they want it run. And if people don't listen, they disappear. The guy that you see here in the middle, he's off the streets right now, but he's one example. He is the one called the stew maker. They found between 14,000 and 15,000 bodies on his property alone. This man was known for disposing of the bodies for the cartels and getting paid like $600 a week to do so. Thousands and thousands of people missing in bodies spread across these different properties. So they're definitely ruthless, and these wars, they've got them kind of paranoid. Some of the groups coming together, and you're really dealing with here the new generational cartel. That's the main one that just really fired up big time. But then you're also dealing with the Sinaloa cartel in the region, Los Acetos, the Gulf cartel. You got all these cartels going at it, fighting over territory, and the CIA admitting that now they're helping the Mexican army come in and make these moves. So I expect to see more drone strikes, more big moves, and blowback on the border area. I would really pay attention to the border towns like Tucson, El Paso. Those would be the places, San Diego. Those would be the places.
That's exactly where I'm at, in San Diego. But let me just play this real quick, because I saw something in the comments.
Is Mexico the next in line to be taken over by America? Let's get into it. First, let's start with El Mencho, the leader of the CJNG, one of the most infamous cartels in Mexico. Now, he was just taken out by the Mexican military with the assistance of America, confirmed by the press secretary. She says the United States provided intelligence to support the Mexican government in order to assist with the operation in Tapapa, Jalisco, Mexico, in which El Mencho was eliminated. And this led to all hell breaking loose, including airports getting shut down and leaving some Americans stuck on some resorts. There's even reports of them putting 2:30 p.m. curfews in many cities, and just to give you a glimpse of how powerful the artillery is, that's not the Mexican government, that's the cartel themselves.
Yeah, that's the cartel, you know, equipped and loaded.
Now, one question I have, how do these cartel groups get this type of weapons? Well, here's a report that says how Israel firearms fell into the hands of the Mexican cartel. Interesting. Now get this, from 2008 to 2018, 238,000 firearms were exported to Mexico from Europe, including 24,000 guns and rifles from Israel, in which wound up in the hands of the cartel. Which brings us to Mexico's first female president, Claudia Sheinbaum, who was elected during
Sheinbaum, but she's a, Israeli. Her parents go back to Israel.
the bloodiest election year Mexico has ever seen,
Right,
with
37 candidates.
37 candidates assassinated, but she happens to make it out.
Right, that's how you know it was all organized.
And
It was
isn't it
orchestrated, man.
coincidence that her parents are from the same place where all those guns came from?
Israel.
Then she actually threatens to sue Elon Musk after he says she's a puppet for the drug cartel. And two things can be true, because what if she was placed there to induce a civil war, only to kick off the Monroe Doctrine? Now, what is that, you ask? It was issued by President James Monroe in 1823 to take over the entire Western Hemisphere, including Canada, Greenland, and all of South America. And it looks like we're on track because we have Greenland in our sights, Venezuela.
Trump already took over Venezuela. The oil, he already got the oil. Took the president, Maduro.
Has been checked off, and now Mexico. Now, another crazy fact that the CJNG not only was big in drug trafficking, but timeshare fraud. The U.S. actually sanctioned a timeshare fraud network led by the CJNG, which they now call a terrorist group. And let's not forget, one of the first executive orders that Trump signed when he got in office was 14157, designating cartels as terrorist groups.
Yep.
So maybe it was all in the plans.
Oh yeah, definitely. But see, one person said, bro, I knew this was coming when Mexico discovered the second biggest deposit of lithium. Lithium, you need it for batteries, all right, and other electronics. It says, yes, this whole Canada annexation, Greenland acquired, now this Mexico conflict, it's all part of the plan to unify the entire Western Hemisphere under the one world order, the North American Union. That one world government is coming. Ooh, Bible don't lie. Hey, yeah, it's all prophesied in the Bible. See, people are starting to wake up. Hey, now it said how knowledge shall flourish off the earth. Okay, and really it's because they're hearing the prophets. They might not give us credit, but they're hearing the prophets, and they still get it wrong. They might know here or thing, but they might know one thing here, whatever. But either way, they don't know the full truth. All right, they don't know the full truth at all. They don't have this 100% doctrine. All right, let me go through this pretty quick because I don't want my thing to die. Because I got too much storage. It says they just want to enforce digital face scanners, right? Ultimately, that the chip, that's the whole goal, really. But everything's gonna be more digitalized. They're pushing and conditioning people to get used to that more and more. Every event they do, because these are all just orchestrated events. Okay. Yeah, that was it. So hopefully this is edifying. On to the next. Shalom.